What's up, YouTubers? Johnny DIY here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a simple trick to keep your car's cooling system working in tip-top shape, and it's going to save you thousands of dollars in auto repair bills over the years with just this simple, easy trick. If you guys are new to my channel, please do me a favor and click the subscribe and the notification bell. That way you can get all my new videos. Alright, let's get to this one. If we come under the hood, the two main lifebloods of your car are going to be the engine motor oil. Always want to have clean engine oil and a good filter in there, but today we're going to be focusing on the cooling system, the second lifeblood. So right here is our radiator and our radiator cap. Here's our little expansion overflow reservoir that holds the extra coolant. Now normally you want to do a full complete flush on your car's radiator and cooling system about once every 5 years or 150,000 miles, whichever comes first. Now some may have longer, some may have shorter intervals. If you check your owner's manual, that'll give you an idea. But if you do this simple trick just once a year, you're not going to have to do that full flush every 5 years, and it's actually going to keep your car running a lot better, and it's going to extend the life of your radiator and some parts in your cooling system. So here's our radiator cap. We're going to go ahead and press it down as we turn it counterclockwise to remove it. Now we're going to go to the bottom of our radiator right here, and we're going to look for the Petcock valve. And it's pretty hard to see, but it's down at the bottom of our radiator right here, this little white knob right there. And we're gonna go ahead and crack it loose counterclockwise. You don't have to use a wrench or anything on this. This is just gonna be hand tight. It has an O-ring on it. Go ahead and situate a bucket or pan underneath the Petcock valve, and then we can go ahead and fully start unscrewing it until it starts draining. And it's best to have your car a little bit warmed up, but not hot, because you don't want to burn yourself. That'll help it drain a little bit more. So you just need to open it up until it starts draining, and it's going to start flooding out the bottom right here. You're going to want to be sure you're collecting all of it and not leaking, as this is a hazardous waste. So now we're just going to let this drain fully. It should take a few minutes. Now if you haven't had your coolant changed or flushed in years, and you go ahead and check here in your radiator and your overflow and it looks really dirty and mucky, you're going to need to do a full flush. I actually have a separate video on doing that you guys can check out. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description below, and I'll also go ahead and put all the tools and supplies I'm using throughout this video down there for you guys too. Once you do that full flush, then you'll be up to speed, and you can do this process just once a year. Okay, once that comes to a slow drip, all we have to do is go ahead and close up that little Petcock valve. Now you just hand tighten that just like before. We didn't have to use a wrench to remove it. We don't need to use a wrench to tighten it. So just tighten it with your fingers. There we go. Put our funnel right in our radiator. Now we need to talk about coolant or antifreeze. Now different cars are going to take different antifreezes. Some can use universal, but I recommend going to your local auto parts store or even your local dealership parts department and speaking to them about what coolant or antifreeze works best in your car. This is a Toyota, so it uses specific ones. Other European and Japanese use them as well. So it's always best to use the recommended coolant, as well as not mixing different coolants together, especially different color coolants. So we're just gonna start filling it back up. Now I know you're thinking, this isn't gonna get all the coolant out of the system because there's some that's still in the engine and the coolant lines, but that's okay. Since we're doing this once a year, we don't need all that coolant to be removed. The new coolant is going to be mixing with all the coolant, and even in the coolant in our reservoir, it's going to mix all together. And then next year when we replace it, a lot of that coolant that we didn't get out is going to be replaced. And since we're doing it so frequently, it's not going to matter, and it's going to be actually better for the system. Okay, so you're going to fill it up all the way to the top like that. And then this also gives you a chance to go ahead and top off your overflow reservoir. You just want to fill it to the full line or the cold fill line if the engine is cold. Don't overfill that. Make sure that cap's back on good. Now with the radiator cap still off, we're going to go ahead and turn the engine on. Then we're going to put our heater on. We're going to let that blow. We're gonna let the engine run for maybe 15 minutes to half an hour. And what that's gonna do is, look, see how the level went down? That's gonna circulate the coolant, and it's gonna burp the system with the radiator off. The heater's gonna help to circulate it too. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep topping this off as it runs. See, after you fill it back up, it's gonna bubble and burp out any of that air that's trapped inside the system. You don't want any air pockets trapped in the system, or you can lead to overheating issues. Okay, now after about 5-10 minutes, after it stops gurgling, we can go ahead and shut it down. Now this gives us the time to check out our radiator cap, and you're gonna wanna inspect these rubber seals for any cracking, because when these start to wear out, the rubber starts to look cracked, kind of like dry rot. So inspect that, make sure it's good. If it isn't, go ahead and replace this. It's best to get an OEM factory dealer part for these radiator caps. Go ahead and put it back on, make sure it's screwed on all the way, nice and tight. Clean up any mess. Now we're gonna wanna dump the old coolant into our empty jugs. And you're gonna wanna take this to your local hazardous waste facility for recycling. You don't wanna pour this down the drain or anything. It's really bad for the environment. So make sure you take it to the right places and keep it away from any kids or pets. Okay, and that's it, guys. So if you just do that one simple thing once a year, it's gonna keep your cooling system working in tip-top shape. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so you can get all my new videos. Thanks for watching Johnny DIY. Keep on doing it yourself, guys. Take care.